Alright, welcome back guys. Today I'm going to be driving this 2023 Toyota Corolla. This car has been proven and tested. It has some miles on it, so I'll kind of tell you a little bit about the ownership span of this life of this car. Let's take it for a drive. This is in the SE package, which is basically a sport trim package. I think it's like a middle package. It goes LE, SE, then XSE for the 2023 models. This particular model comes with the light interior, so it's a little dirty inside right now. I haven't given it a clean yet, but let's take it for a spin and I'll let you guys know what I think about this Corolla. So they all come standard with push to start. You get remote start for the first year for free, and then after that you pay, I think it's about $15 a month with Toyota to get the connected service that they have. Comes with wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which is really nice because the Civic comes with wired CarPlay and Android Auto, so Corolla has them beat on that one. Even though I definitely I prefer driving the Civic more. It just has a better field. Alright, so this particular car has about 45,000 miles on it now. I've driven it hard with a lot of miles, and the only maintenance I've had to do on this car was just oil change and then your filters. Don't need brakes yet because most of the mileage was on the highway. So you could go up to 60,000 if you're doing highway miles on this car without doing the brakes, which is a huge cost savings. And then also, the really good thing about this car is just the cost of the maintenance. It's very cheap. You don't pay much at all. Oil changes on this car, it's relatively expensive because this particular Corolla are using a very light oil that Toyota, I think is 08 something. I don't know the exact number, but it's pretty expensive oil. I think the oil alone is like $70. So if you go to the dealer, you're spending about $120, $130 just for an oil change on this car. It is rated for 10,000 miles for each oil change. However, most mechanics or techs recommend you come in a little early, even though Toyota recommends 10,000 in between. And also tire rotation is very important to help the lifespan of your tire. And these tires are they were 225, 40, 18, so they're pretty common tires. However, they're pretty expensive also if you're buying new tires for this car. Some standard options with this package is automatic lights, automatic adaptive cruise control. It does not have a blind spot in this trim level for 2023. You're gonna have to step up to the XSE. There was an option that you pay, I think it was about, it's $600 additional dollars when you're ordering the car or more for a blind spot. So it was an option, it just didn't come standard on the SE model. The SE model looks exactly the same as the XSE. The XSE just gives you a more digital display, and it also gives you a more it gives you a better option for seating because I think it's synthetic leather, so easier to clean, and easier to kind of live with versus this cloth, because the cloth, we're taking more smells and taking more stains versus the leather or the fake leather. Drive wise, this car drives relatively nice for the price range. You're paying about, brand new, you're paying about $26, $27 for this car, depending on and that's just MSRP. That's without any taxes or fees or discounts. This particular model here was about $27,500 because the paint job on this car was an addition of $500, or about $498. So this is not a standard paint. It was an option paint from Toyota. It came with the car. I wasn't looking for this paint. It just came with the car, and it was the one they had at the time when I was buying it, and I just decided to go with it. When I bought it in 2023, these cars were not relatively available as they are now, because they are one of the best-selling Toyotas out there. They're the best-selling, obviously, because of the famous name, reliability, cost of maintenance, cost of ownership. Owning this car is, it's much cheaper than owning, I think, any other Toyota. This is the cheapest Toyota you can own, for the long term. And also, there's no turbos, so the engine is pretty reliable. It is a CVT transmission, so definitely not my favorite. However, Toyota has somehow perfected this CVT transmission where you don't get as much slippage, or you don't get as much issues as the Nissans, or even the Hondas. The Hondas transmissions are good, but not as good as the Toyotas. I think I prefer the Toyota's engine better because they just have it, worked out, because they've been using it for such a long time that, they've worked out all the kinks from this transmission. Overall, like I said, great car, great first car, great car for commuting if you want to commute long distance. I average about, let's say, about 32, 35, 32 city, 35, 36 highway. You can get up to 40 if you're doing 70 or 65 miles an hour. But if you're doing 80, you usually can average about 36, 35. So pretty good. I mean, you're using 87 regular gas. You're not paying any premium for the gas. So definitely cost savings, from the gas station for sure. You get about 380, about 400 miles to a tank. So you don't necessarily have to stop as much, and it's a small tank, so you're not paying too much. I think you get about, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's around 11 to 12 gallons, or I think about 11 to 12 gallons, give or take, for this car. So you're spending currently about 35, at the highest 40 to fill this car up, and you're getting 400 miles, highway miles, and about 350 city miles. So pretty good. So in conclusion, highly recommend it. One of the best things I think you can do for yourself is get a Corolla if you're looking for a car that's going to save you in the long term, and then also resale value. You can drive this car for 3-4 years, put 100,000 miles on it, and sell it for about, best case scenario, maybe 50% of what you paid for it. So, I think in the long term, this is probably the best car you can buy. Thanks for watching, and please hit subscribe, and I'll send you guys more videos. And then let me know if you want me to do something else, show you more exterior videos of the car, or just let me know what you think in the comments.